Well, good evening, everybody. I want to be a good steward of your time. It is literally 6:31. I want to begin by asking a question. How many of you have not been to Harvey Elementary School before? Just put your hand up. Wow. I would say the majority of you have not been to Harvey before. And so one of my goals is to take us places that we may not have experienced before. And so this is a great example of it. I want to say good evening and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules. I know everyone is busy. The holidays are fast approaching, but I want to thank you for coming out and being with us at our Fairfield Forum. And we're going to go ahead and get right into it. I thought it would be apropos based upon feedback to show senior resources that we have available for our community. So we have a few presentations for our senior resources. We're going to first of all ask Ashley Giles, who is the county's advocate for the aging, Office of Engagement, to come. Then after her, Mr. Christopher Lighton, he's the Vice President of Outreach, the SPAN Center, formerly the Capital Area Aging, Agency on Aging. Can we just give a hand for them as they come?
Good evening. Hi, I'm Ashley Giles. I am the advocate for the aging for the Henrico County, and I am part of Henrico County's newest agency, the Outreach and Engagement Agency. And I'm really happy to be with you here this evening. Sorry, I just want to make sure. Oh, great. I wasn't sure I was showing my slides, so forgive me. Wonderful. So as the advocate for the aging, my role is threefold. I provide resources and information to individuals 60 and older, their families and caregivers. I also put on community events and activities for older adults, and I provide outreach and advocacy. So here you should see a list of resources or community events that have happened pretty recently. We like to do senior law clinics pretty regularly with the SPAN Center. We can get your wills, power of attorney, advanced medical directive drafted for free. We have a lot of celebratory events. So you see our centenarian celebration up there, as well as a caregiver appreciation dinner that's coming up soon. And then we have a lot of educational events as well, like our fall festival here. I really want to get started, though, by sharing some resources that may be helpful for you or your families and friends in our community. And I always like to get started with our Department of Social Services because they do so many things. They do our long-term care screenings, our Medicaid screenings, and they oversee our SNAP program, our Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. If you know a loved one, a community member whose abilities may be changing and they're really concerned about whether or not they can afford long-term care or what that may look like for them, they have to complete an application for possibly Medicaid long-term care, and they have to get an assessment done to see if their abilities meet the needs of long-term care. So DSS is usually our starting point for something like that. So they can come out and do screenings for individuals to see if they may qualify for that resource. So the Department of Social Services is a really great place for you to be familiar with. Also, I love to start with the Department of Social Services because you all are the boots on the ground in this community, right? You get to see each other and learn each other, and you recognize that things are off. So if you're ever with a friend or loved one and you're worried about them being abused, exploited, or neglected, then we encourage you to contact Adult Protective Services and make a report. So again, you are just such a vital part of our community, and we want you to be aware of that resource. The number here is for you. That's their helpline, and they're available Monday through Friday during business hours. And there's also a 24/7 state hotline for you to call to make a report. Right now, they're also overseeing our energy assistance program. So if you know someone that needs some support paying for fuel costs in the winter, or heating costs in the winter, or cooling costs in the summer, our fuel assistance program, energy assistance program, is really important. And they're accepting applications right now for fuel assistance. So please be aware that that is a resource if someone is income eligible. They also have crisis assistance for individuals that need help with their furnace or heating equipment. That's available too through crisis assistance if you qualify again. And that qualification process is through Common Help. You can complete an application there, or you can do a paper application and submit it to the Department of Social Services. Another great program is our REAP program, our Real Estate Advantage program. This is wonderful for individuals 65 or older or have a full disability. You may qualify. There are some eligibility requirements, but you can get up to $3,200 of your real estate taxes waived through this program. It's a pretty lengthy application process, but the Revenue Division is very available to help you and answer any questions that you have. The RECAP program is also wonderful. If you don't qualify for the REAP program, you may qualify for the RECAP program. And so that doesn't waive your real estate taxes, but it will cap them the year that you apply and are qualified for that program. So again, really beneficial to many. My slides are off. Our Department of Community Revitalization also offer a number of programs to older adults. They have a moderate home repair program, which can repair up to $45,000 $45,000 worth of home repairs for individuals that I believe are 62 or older or have a disability. And again, there's that eligibility criteria. And so these are repairs that will make your home safe and healthy for you to reside in. And there are also some minor home repair programs too, which is up to $10,000 worth of repairs. Please. Yes. So you do have, there's an age qualification and then an income criteria too to be aware of. I'm not sure of the specifics, so forgive me. But if you're interested in learning more, you can contact Project Homes. The number is on here. And then I also have a great handout for you in the back that has all this information too. So please make sure you grab one of those. A wonderful program. Please know there aren't very many programs like this in our community, and the need is great. So, of course, there is going to be a wait list for something like this. But please contact Project Homes with any questions that you might have. Oh, next we have Project Lifesaver. Have you heard of this program before? It's a wonderful program if you're caring for a loved one that has autism, Alzheimer's, or dementia. This is a program that's operated through our sheriff's office, and they will come out and give your loved one a device. It looks like a watch, and if anything happens and that loved one wanders, they're able to ping that device and help locate the individual. And I think their average time is about 22 minutes. And that's just so wonderful when you're really fearful about where your loved one is. That program is currently free. There has been nominal fees in the past just associated with a battery change, but right now it's currently free, and it's very important. Our rec and parks have a really extensive programs. I know we have a beautiful park system, but our recreation centers are also very engaged. They offer a lot of wonderful programming. They have pickleball. I've never played before. It looks dangerous, but I've heard it's a big deal. They have leisure clubs and fun activities. They also offer our Friendship Cafe. One of our Friendship Cafes through the Span Center is at Deep Run Rec Center, and it's just a really fun place to engage with other community members. Our county libraries, also a lot of fun things going on there. They have really intentional adult programming. They have book clubs, they have knitting clubs, they have all kinds of art. They also offer a tech tutor. I don't know if you've heard of this before, but it's a great program where you can bring any of your technology and they can come help you with some of the basics, which is really helpful because I am not very tech-centered, if you can't tell. And so they are really helpful and patient. They also offer a mobile library service where they load up their van with over 600 books and they go to over 30 older adult communities and they unload and you're able to check out books there. It's a really great program. If you're a part of a community or you know someone who is that isn't getting visited by the mobile libraries, they love expanding that service. So there's contact information for who you can talk to about expanding that service. Next, we have the Division of Police. They operate our SALT program, our Seniors and Law Enforcement Together program. And it's a really great partnership between older adults, other community partners, and our law enforcement. They get together about once a month. They learn about trends that are happening, crime prevention techniques, and other resources in the community. If you're interested in participating in that SALT Triad group, there's contact information on the screen. I think Heather Hodges operates that program. They also have the Citizens Police Academy. Any participants here from the Police Academy? Okay. Oh, yes. Very interesting. They have Citizens Police and Senior Citizens Police Academy. They do it twice a year. I think it's 12 weeks long, and you get to meet with each department within the division of police. It's very interesting. I was only able to sit in on traffic, and I was like, this is going to be not the most interesting, but it was so engaging. It was very interesting. They showed you what does it really mean to run a stoplight, and how to calculate the speed of a chase, or if there's an accident. It's very interesting. But I would really encourage you to check out their Citizens Police Academy. Our Division of Fire, they have a smoke alarm assistance program. So if you hear that chirp in your home and it's driving you nuts, please don't stand on a chair on top of your kitchen island to change those batteries. Please contact our Division of Fire. They are more than happy to come and take care of that for you. You can go online and add your name to a list, or you can contact them over the phone and add your name to a list, and they'll come out pretty quickly to change that for you. And they're really happy to do it. They also have been operating some community classes as well. Recently, they've done an outreach class where they have EMTs come out and they show you hands-only first aid. And they've done a lot of citizen education about what emergency services look like. So the coordinator of outreach, Lieutenant Byron Burton, is always really interested in engaging with the community. So please plug in with our Division of Fire, see what's going on, and sign up for some of their programs. And lastly, I want to talk about Henrico Public Schools. They have a really wonderful program called Golden Ages. If you are 6 years older, you can go on their website and print a one-pager. It's a little card. You can put your name on it, and you can get into all the school activities for free. And then if you're a lifelong learner, you can access classes through their Adult Education Center. They reserve 20% of their classes for individuals with that Golden Ages pass. So that's really beneficial. I know my time is coming to a close, but we definitely want you to know that on the back table back there, there's a ton of information. There are handouts for a lot of the programs we talked about. Again, there's a small booklet of information for the resources that we talked about. And then, which is really wonderful, is our resource guide for older adults. It's about 80 pages. We don't get to print these very often, but we were gracious for PR for letting us print some and bring them here for you tonight. So make sure you grab one. They're like 80 pages full of great information. So thank you for letting me be here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Next, we're going to have Christopher Lighton. Again, he is with the Span Center, formerly
Senior Connect.
All right, come on, Chris.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here. My name is Christopher Layton. I'm with the Span Center. We used to be called Senior Connections, and we are the Area Agency on Aging for Central Virginia. We serve Richmond and the 7 surrounding counties, including Henrico County, and we administer a lot of the state and federal benefits that older adults are qualified for, as well as persons with disabilities, caregivers, and even caregivers' families, depending on what the circumstance might be. See if our slides pop up here. If not, then I am happy to just discuss. This might be a different... Oh, it's still part of... Oh, that's okay. Yeah. All right. So here we are. We are the Area Agency on Aging, like I said, for Central Virginia. We serve about 250,000 older adults. There we go. We have about 35 different services that we offer, and we categorize them under connection, advocacy, and support. And let's see if I can move on from there. A good example of the types of services that we offer, Friendship Cafes, as Ashley mentioned. We have about 20 Friendship Cafes in Central Virginia. One of them here in Henrico is Deep Run. It's a great place for anyone 60 and older who wants to get a hot meal, meet with other people, hang out, just get out of the house. They meet about twice a week, and some of our Friendship Cafes meet more frequently than that. So just give us a call, visit our website if you want more information on that. We also do home-delivered meals for people who are homebound. So if you are, probably you are not here if you're homebound, but if you know somebody who is homebound, can't leave their house, can't make meals for themselves, or if they have a spouse who cannot make meals for themselves, we partner with Feed More to help provide meals for people who are struggling in that area. We also, as Ashley mentioned, partner with Project Homes and a few other organizations to help repair homes. It is a lot better for people to stay in their homes than to have to deal with the struggle of finding somewhere else to live. So really commonly this time of year, things like roof repairs, water leaks, things like that, those can turn into really big issues. And we do have some funds set aside to take care of things like home repair. Move on to the next slide there. When someone gives us a call, we will do all of the intake for you. We'll make sure if you qualify for one of our 35 programs, or even if you don't qualify for a program that we administer, we act as a benefits enrollment center. That means that we can make sure that if you do qualify for a benefit that is state or federal that we don't administer, we can also sign you up for that. We'll send out a care coordinator to your home personally, and that care coordinator will work with you and your family to see what kinds of things that you qualify for and what programs that we administer that you might be able to sign up for. Home delivered meals, as I mentioned, is one of the main things that we offer for people who are homebound. Caregiver support is a huge growing need. It's very important, at least for the SPAN Center, to make sure that people can stay in their own homes as long as possible. And caregivers are a direct resource for that. They're often family members, people, loved ones, friends, who care for people who are in need of help. Caregivers need help themselves, education, oftentimes respite. Caregivers put so much energy. It is a 24-hour-a-day job, nonstop. We can offer some support services to caregivers that allow them to take a break. We can send somebody who's qualified into their home to help take care of a friend or a family member that you might have. And that allows caregivers to take a little bit of respite for themselves. And we even have programs that allow caregivers to take advantage of some hobbies or get back in touch with themselves. Oftentimes, caregiving can mean that you spend a lot of time caring for your loved one and you lose touch with some of the things that make you feel like yourself. And we have a good example is we had a woman recently who contacted us who used to love to sew, but she had been a full-time caregiver for over a decade and she had not been able to engage in sewing in a long time. We bought her a sewing machine. We paid for somebody to come into her home and take care of her loved one for several hours a week so that she could at least engage in that activity. Transportation is another huge need that people have. We can offer rides to and from medical appointments specifically, but sometimes in certain cases we can offer rides to and from grocery stores or other essential places. Being able to get to medical appointments is a big deal, especially for older adults, as access to transportation might become a little more difficult to get, or is just driving in general. Maybe driving in the evening, driving in inclement weather might be more difficult. We can help arrange for transportation for that, and in most cases that transportation is absolutely free. We mentioned our friendship cafes as one of our points of connection. Connection is huge. Social isolation can happen to anybody, whether that's family that moves away, whether or not you might have friends that you're no longer in touch with, or whether that just happens to be that over time you lose touch with some people. Social isolation is a huge contributor to other factors of well-being. So our friendship cafes are one of our lines of defense for that. Our secondary line of defense for that is telebridges. If you know somebody who would like to receive regular check-ins, regular phone calls, we can offer volunteers who will call them on a regular basis, check in with them, make sure they're doing okay. Those volunteers, it'll be the same volunteer every time. So they develop a bit of a connection with the person that they call. And it really is helpful for a lot of people just to have somebody check in pretty frequently and ask how they're doing, ask if they need anything. And in a lot of cases, those telebridges volunteers report back to us and say, hey, this person really could use this service, and we can send somebody out to help them. We also offer health and wellness classes. One of our most popular health and wellness classes is a matter of balance. As we get older, things like falls, balance, that can be really difficult. If somebody has fallen before, they can often avoid the spaces and activities that they may have engaged in that caused the fall. That could be maybe going upstairs if they live in a 2-story home and now they're resigned to the first floor. That could be going out, just going for a walk in the park. That activity could be really healthy for them, but they might have some fear of falling again. Matter of balance is great for that. It can help people learn to trust their balance again and feel comfortable in a lot of situations where they may avoid due to a fall. Our foster grandparents program is also fantastic. That's for older adults who want to give back to the community, give back to the younger generation. We have about 50 foster grandparents right now, and they mentor young children. Last year we had 99 children mentored by our 50 foster grandparents, and it means the world to those kids. They see the same older person who serves in a grandparent role to them and provides often just like life advice, guidance, even just a familiar smiling face can mean a lot to them. I mentioned our Telebridges program there. And our last pillar is our advocacy pillar. This is where we go to bat for older adults. We talk about needs that matter to them, and we help make sure that people are looking out for them. Our ombudsman program is one of our biggest pillars of our advocacy platform. If somebody that you know is living in a long-term care facility, they could be 18 years of age or older. As long as they're an adult and they're living in a long-term care facility, our ombudsman will go to that facility, talk with them, talk with their family, and make sure that their rights are being respected, make sure that that facility is treating them the way that they should be treated under the law, and make sure that they're not being shortchanged in any way. Like, it could be something as small as, hey, they're not feeding me all the meals that they should be feeding me, or hey, they're not treating me the right way. Our ombudsman can go into those facilities and make sure that people are being respected. Public guardianship is also a big advocacy platform. If you know somebody that is deemed incapable of making life choices for themselves, somebody that's also 18 years or older, somebody that is not able to make big life decisions, like whether or not they should go to the hospital or where they should live or things like that, public guardians can step in and make those life choices on their behalf, often in consultation with that person. So they'll ask that person how they feel about certain things or whether or not certain activities sound right for them, and try and make the best informed decision that they can on behalf of somebody who is having a hard time making life choices for themselves. Our last pillar of advocacy is making sure that we celebrate elderhood and disrupt ageism. It's really important for us to be at events like this. It's really important for us to talk with the county, with the city of Richmond, with the state of Virginia, make sure that we are designing spaces that are inclusive of everyone, especially older adults. When we're building new neighborhoods, we're making sure that there are sidewalks, that there's adequate lighting, that those neighborhoods have access to things like grocery stores or access to a bus stop, public transportation. These are all really important things that we're trying to keep in mind when we design spaces for older adults. That is all we have as the SPAN Center. If anyone is interested in any of the services we provide, you can go to spancenter.org, SPAN center.org, or you can give us a call at 804-343-3000. We're happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
I'm really excited to have with us our delegate, Destiny Olivia Boland from the 80th District. Can we welcome her with a rousing round of applause, our delegate.
Thank you. Supervisor gave me the special microphone. Good evening, everyone. Oh, we can do it better than that. Good evening. Yes, I know it's late, but we've got good information for you. As our supervisor said, I am Delegate Destiny LaVere Bowling, and I represent Fairfield District and part of Brooklyn District in the House of Delegates, that's Virginia General Assembly. I was first elected, thank you for going back for me, in 2023, and I'm up for re-election again, but I'm not here tonight to talk about the campaign. I'm here to bring you information on what the General Assembly is doing and what my office can do for you while I'm able to be here. First, a bit about me as well. I want to thank you all for participating in the voting process and being active citizens. A lot of you in the room have already written and called me for help on something or just to check in, and I want to thank you for that, because not enough people use their voices to make a change. And it's you in this room and those on WebEx or otherwise who are fueling the movement and fueling the power and allowing our county to thrive and be one of the top counties in Virginia. You all have allowed me to become the youngest elected legislator in the Virginia General Assembly. Thank you. You all have also afforded me the opportunity to be the youngest whip in my Democratic caucus, which I'm the person, when they need some votes gathered together and get everyone on the same page, they send me. I'm the muscle. I get things done. I know I'm little, but I've got a big voice. And then also, you all allowed me and were so gracious in that I delivered my first child during this last session in February, and I was back at work 3 days later voting and making sure your voices were heard in the General Assembly. So I want to thank you for your support and your love for that. Thank you. Now, let's talk about the office and what in the world the General Assembly or a delegate like me, what can I do for you all? A lot of things. So, if you have any issues with any state agency, we're talking DMV, we're talking Virginia Department of Health, we're talking DSS or Department of Social Services or otherwise, you can call my office. If you need help with unemployment insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, those types of things, you should feel free to call and or email me. I can be of assistance, and if I can't, I know somebody who can. Other things that are useful in the office can also be if you need a letter of recommendation for something, if you're applying for something or you know someone else in the district who needs a bit of support in that area, you can also call my office. I'll write it. The letterhead looks really pretty. And so I don't mind ever being a backbone for those who want to do good in this world. And so you should know my office does that. And then there's a host of other things here on the screen. But I want to talk more about, in particular, what's going on in the General Assembly. So in this last legislative session, 2025, we had a session where we had 3 constitutional amendments, which are really important. Constitutional amendments are a big deal because we have to pass it twice, and then it goes to the voters, you all, to be able to make a decision on whether or not it gets incorporated into our Constitution. So the 3 in which we had this past session are 1, HJ1, which is the right to reproductive freedom. All right. The second, HJ2, is the right to vote. And then there was a third, HJ9, which is the right to marry whom you love. Now, we did pass all 3 of those this last session, as I mentioned, here in 2025. We will go back. Should I be reelected, hopefully I'll be there. But the next General Assembly in 2026, they will be voted on again. Hopefully they will pass. And then what will happen is they will be on the ballot in November of 2026 for you all to vote on. So you have a say on whether or not the Constitution will change in which the way that these are listed. It's really important that you all have your voices heard, and I'm a strong proponent of that. That's why I ran in the first place. And so if you have any qualms or any questions about either 3 of those amendments, you should feel free to ask me tonight or at a later time. If you want to have a meeting, I can sit down and talk to you about what the legislation details even further. There are other constitutional amendments, one in particular that I want to talk about in a moment, but we'll get back to that. Now, interning with our office. I know a lot of you in this room are going, girl, I'm retired, or I got a job. I'm not interning with you. But you never know, right? We offer a year-round internship and externship opportunities, and it's open to everyone from high school into senior community members. If you just want to see what the General Assembly does or what happens in my office on a daily, you are more than welcome to come and spend a day, a few weeks, months if you want, helping out, whether it can be simple as stuffing mail, reading constituent mail, and helping me figure out who to call and on what to do, to helping me craft legislation. If it's of interest to you, that's what I do. We have had many students come from high school in particular in the district who work in the office at their leisure or outside of the office because, transportation's hard for some of our kids these days. They get to work on legislation and they're really proud of the ideas that they come up with and being able to meet with state agencies or other legislators and craft their own ideas and make a change in Virginia. And that's what I want to give them and empower their voices. So together, it's a great dynamic. Brings fresh ideas, seasoned perspective to public service, and it's, again, a hands-on experience for everyone to truly see the inside of our legislature in Virginia. You might have one notion of it, but I promise you, once you get in it, you will walk away being like, oh my goodness, this is what y'all really do. So if you're curious about the political process, if you're passionate about your community, I please welcome you to come and make an impact alongside me, and we'd love to have you. There's information here on the last slide. You can contact my Chief of Staff, Morgan, who is back there in the cream sweater. She's my right and left hand. We get everything done together. Again, I welcome you. I will also mention, while I mentioned Morgan, it is just she and I in my office. She is my staff of one. So together, she and I handle the entire 80th district, and we love that. We get a lot done, and I say that because I wanted to praise Morgan a little bit more, but also meaning that when you contact me, you are contacting me. You are contacting Morgan. I see every email that comes in. It comes on my phone, no matter what hour of the day. I see it all, every phone call, every voicemail, every letter you write. I see it, Morgan sees it, and you will always get an answer from myself and or her. So just know that we are here, we are transparent, and that you're always talking to me. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about tonight, there we go, is sharing your legislative ideas. If there's any problem you want to solve in the community, even if you don't think it's big enough, right, quote unquote, to be a piece of legislation, it doesn't matter. I want you to come to me and give me those ideas. If you want to change something, you've had trouble at DMV. I think we had someone come in the other week to say, DMV is not accessible enough for folks who use walkers and canes and are in wheelchairs. It's not. Some of the doors aren't automatic. Some of them can't get up to the counter to sign their name on pieces of paper, things like that. It's not. And so I'm able to go to DMV, have a conversation, and then think about crafting legislation that would help change or give budget amendment that would help change some of those things. That's just one idea. You all will have many. You live life every day in the 80th district, just like I do. So if you see anything or know of anything you want to see change, please share your thoughts with me, with Morgan. The QR code is there. And again, I'll be here for you all to talk to afterwards. Special session. So you all may have heard in the news that Virginia just went into a special session just on Monday. We gavelled in on Monday, and we still are in a special session currently. We have not gavelled out. The delegates are not in session currently, even though it's still ongoing, but the Senate will be in until tomorrow. Now, what does this mean? We went into special session to take up an important issue. And this is not me attempting to be political, but it affects every Virginia voter, and it's just so timely that I mention it so that you all are informed. The issue that we took up is how our congressional districts are drawn. So on Wednesday, just yesterday, my goodness, the House passed House Joint Resolution 6007 with a vote of 51 to 42. And now the Senate is set to take their final vote tomorrow. And with the proposed constitutional amendment of this, it keeps our options open for the future. You have probably heard also in the news about some of the democracy grabs that are happening in California or Texas or North Carolina, for instance, where our current federal administration is trying to redraw some maps and gain some seats in the Senate and or the House and Congress. Virginia likes to make our own decisions, and so the legislature has gone in this week to try to prevent the federal government coming in and telling us what we should and should not do with our own voters and our own elections. And so now with the constitutional amendment that we're proposing, we're going to have a little bit more flexibility to handle congressional redistricting coming up. Now, it doesn't change or eliminate any of the Virginia Redistricting Commission, which I did get some emails, maybe from some folks in here worried about that. It doesn't touch our state legislative maps. It only is going to affect our congressional districts. And so the amendment is temporary. It's supposed to expire in 2030. And that's really important because we want to protect our democracy and prepare for whatever may come next. I could wax poetic more and more about that, but I wanted to give you that update on what's going on. So in January, there will be, hopefully, should the Senate pass, we will go further into crafting the amendment on what that will look like, how the procedures will go. It would hopefully maybe pass. And then we will have it on the ballot for you all at the next election, which would be in, I think, the primary election in June. It would be on the ballot. So that's just a little information about that. And there we go. So my next thing and my last thing that I will mention are a couple save the dates for you all. If you aren't on my newsletter, I ask you to please go to destinyforvirginia.com to get on that so that you will be able to get all of the events and fun stuff that I have going on. The first thing, let me see what's mentioned here. The first thing is our Winter Wonderland. We started this last year. It sounds like something for children because it is, but all adults came last year too, and it was very fun. You get to make ornaments, decorate cookies, listen to some Christmas music, get your picture taken with Santa. Just have a good time with community members. We have food, we have games, all the fun stuff, just a lighthearted event for all of us to come together and enjoy the holiday spirit. The other that's mentioned here is just when General Assembly starts, which is January 14th of 2026. It's coming up so soon. And then I also have, backing up to this month, on November 19th, right, Morgan, 19th. Okay, November 19th, we have a Veterans Town Hall. If you are a veteran or know someone who is a veteran, with all the things going on with the federal government, they may feel like they're losing benefits or maybe losing some benefits. I'm holding a Veterans Town Hall where we'll have the Deputy Commissioner of Veteran Services here in Virginia coming to talk. They will have resources there to talk to you about what your options are, what Virginia can offer, what's still left of the federal government that you can apply for, that sort of thing. And that will be at 6 to 7:30 at VFW Post 6364. Thanks, Morgan. 6364. And again, that's on my email list if you all would like to be there or know someone who would be interested in that. Please. And if you all have any ideas on other town halls or topics you would like covered that I can host, please email me, contact me so that I can get that up and running and we can have the conversations. I think, okay. Oh, thank you. All right. Well, I'm going to stop talking and take questions, my favorite part. Are there any questions? Yes. There you go. I'll use this now.
You mentioned you had 3 amendments already done by the General Assembly.
Yes, sir.
Will this redistricting amendment fall into the same category as those 3 because it's before the election next week?
Yes. So should the Senate pass the amendment tomorrow, right? This is when they take their final vote tomorrow. Should that pass, it will come back before the General Assembly in January, along with the other 3 that I mentioned. And then it will come before the voters at the next general election.
Which would be in November?
November, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Comments, concerns? All right. Yes, I'll be here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Delegate Bowling. We have another presenter from the state, from our Family Services Special, Henrico Social Services for DAR's Division of Aging. Dear Glenn. Come on, let's receive her as she comes.
Hello, good evening. Like he said, my name is Adair Glenn. I actually work for Henrico County Social Services, not DARS. But I've been there for a little over 10 years. And the chances are if somebody you know had a long-term care screening, I was the one who completed it. I'm going to touch a little bit on what Ashley talked about at the very beginning, which are the 2 Medicaid waivers that social services handles. The first one I'm going to talk about is the long-term care program. So This screening, it used to be called the EDCD waiver. An old name for it is a nursing home waiver. You have to meet the same level of care of needing a nursing home in order to be approved for this, but it doesn't mean you have to go into a nursing home. The other options through this waiver are either an aide in the home, and that would be like a CNA coming out to help with bathing, dressing, toileting, things like that, or an adult day center like the PACE program. I don't know if you guys have seen the PACE buses driving around. They're an all-inclusive day center, so that's an option under this Medicaid waiver as well. So like I said, it offers hands-on services. You do have to be eligible for Medicaid. Both of the programs I'm going to talk about tonight are Medicaid waivers. So meaning you have to be eligible for Medicaid and you have to be approved for the screening, okay? I'm going to leave some information on the back table about long-term care Medicaid, as well as a handout about the criteria for long-term care services and the options that you could potentially pick from if you are eligible. Before we move to assisted living, I just want to make a note for the criteria for long-term care. There's 3 criteria a person has to meet. One is a functional need, meaning they need help bathing, dressing, toileting, etc. The other is they have to have ongoing medical needs. So examples of this would be insulin for diabetes, oxygen for COPD, things like that. They also have to be at risk of being placed in a nursing home or admitted into a hospital within 30 days. So when we come out to assess the client, they have to meet all 3 of those criteria in order to be approved, and they have to be eligible for Medicaid. So moving on to assisted living, this is another Medicaid waiver. You have to apply for the auxiliary grant through Medicaid, and then you also have to have an assessment. Now, for the long-term care nursing home assessments, those involve social services and the health department. So a nurse and a social worker are coming out to the home to assess you. We bring information back to the health department, and the doctor at the health department ultimately makes the final decision. For assisted living, it's just a social worker coming out, and we're just asking questions about the amount of help you need, kind of about your medical history. We want to make sure that assisted living is appropriate and that you don't need nursing home. Assisted living is for people that need kind of help with laundry or housekeeping, food preparation, maybe some Medicaid management, whereas that nursing home level of care is for that hands-on care. They need help bathing and dressing, things like that. I think Ashley had this number up. This is our intake number for the screening. So if anyone can request a screening for anyone. So if you have a neighbor that you feel like might benefit from some services and you think they might be eligible for Medicaid, you can call and request a screening. We're going to contact the family or the client, ask some more questions to make sure this is what's appropriate for them. If not, we would be able to refer out to the SPAN Center or whatever other services in the community. Because again, you have to be Medicaid eligible. This intake number is for screenings. If you want to make an adult protective services report, which Ashley mentioned, if you have any concerns at all about someone, whether they're being cared for, whether they're able to care for themselves, you can call this same number, but you're going to hit option 1, which would be to make an APS report. Option 2 is to request a screening. That's I have been running the program for 10 years. I recently got a second worker, Tamika Davis. Both of our numbers up here. I'm going to leave both of our business cards back on the table. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can also just go ahead and call intake, start the process, and then Tamika and I will be reaching out to you to ask more questions. Does anyone have any questions about those 2 waivers? All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to bring up now our actual registrar for the county of Henrico, Mr. Mark Coakley. He is over all elections for your county. So this is the election man. Come on, Mr. Coakley.
I do want to thank everybody for being out here tonight. I know Reverend Cooper said Dancing with the Stars comes on soon, so we need to, she told me to not do my 104 slides, but narrow it down a little bit. So what I want to talk about is what's on the ballot this year, right? We've had early voting going on, and some of you may have seen, I've seen you out there at the early voting sites, either 9 Mile Road or East Parham Road or even Verina Library. It's been a great experience. We've had about 40,000 voters so far in person, which is just an exciting number to have. We still have early voting going on through Saturday at 5 p.m. at the 3 locations. So through Saturday at 5 p.m., come out and early vote. Or if you want to go to your neighborhood polling place on Election Day, Tuesday, November 4th, then you can go there and see your neighbors check in at your polling place. What I want to talk about is, so the ballot's going to have the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and one of our 5 House districts, House of Delegate districts on the ballot. It's an exciting time to be part of elections with the voting going on. I do want to mention about check-ins, that when a voter checks in, they're going to give an ID and state their name and address, and then we're going to repeat back the name of the voter to you, so that way we don't miss up junior and senior or something like that. So we repeat back just your name back to you, and then we'll check you in, give you an I voted ATV, authorization to vote slip. You'll get your ballot. You'll go to a voting booth, and then mark your ballot the way you want to. It's your choice to vote for this election. Like I said, there are 4 different choices on the ballot. You don't have to vote for all 4. You can just pick and choose what you want. Undervotes are acceptable. What we don't like is if you like both candidates for a particular race and you want to vote for both of them. The ballot doesn't like that. It's going to reject the ballot if you vote for both the R and the D candidate because they're both your friends. So you're going to have to pick one or the other, or write-ins for that matter, and not overvote the ballot. Marking the ballot, you're going to fill in the oval next to your candidate's name, and we ask that you fill in the oval completely. It's not a big oval, but check marks and X's may not get read by the scanner. So it's real important when you check in and you fill out your ballot, fill in that oval completely. I've kind of mentioned early voting. Also, what I want to talk about is absentee by mail. We do have absentee by mail. We've mailed out over 21,000 ballots this year, and we're getting them back in. Now, if you have a ballot by mail, you can return it through the USPS as long as it's postmarked next Tuesday, or we have 5 drop boxes throughout the county that you can drop off your ballot in if you want to do that. On Election Day, all 90 precincts have a drop box at them. So if you work not near your home precinct, you can take your absentee ballot to any precinct and put it in there in the drop box inside that precinct. It doesn't have to be your local neighborhood precinct. But we're real excited about the absentee part of it. One other thing I want to mention, the life of an absentee ballot, that we go through the process of sending you out the ballot that you requested. It comes back to us. We make sure everything is filled out. If not, we have a cure process. A cure process is in case you forgot your apartment number on your envelope, not on the ballot, but on your envelope. We can call you or mail you and say, hey, we need that apartment number. Will you fill out this affidavit? That way we can count your ballot. So we go through the cure process, and then the ballots are put in the scanner, and all absentee ballots are counted. We count every absentee ballot in Virginia. Another thing we can count are provisional ballots. Provisional ballots is a fail-safe method of voting. Let's say you show up at your polling place and you registered at Fall Festival, and somehow we didn't get that registration form. you can vote a provisional, and we can research and find out if you registered at DMV or the Fall Festival and where we can find your application. If not, if you just moved here, congratulations on moving here to Fairfield District. You can vote and do a same-day voter registration provisional. So if you moved precincts or you just moved into the county, go to your polling place on election day, say, I just moved into this polling place, can I vote? And they're going to give you an application and a provisional ballot. You'll fill it out, mark the ballot, seal it in the envelope, and that ballot will count. We will count those ballots too. So we want to make sure everybody is eligible to vote, and we want to make sure that your vote counts in a secure manner. And I think that's all I have at this time. So does anybody have any questions about the absentee process in person, again, through Friday at 5 o'clock, election day, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you have an ID, bring your ID. If not, we can give you an affirmation of identity statement to fill out also. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mark. So now we're going to have our school board representative from the Fairfield District, Mr. Ryan Young, my partner on the school board. We've been working together to ensure that our students have the best opportunities to be successful. So let's receive Mr. Young.
All right, I used a handheld. He said this one's a little bit better. How we doing this evening, everyone? Sorry, I just walked in. I was over at Wilder Middle School DJing a fall festival this evening. So I do a little bit of everything for my kids in the community. Tonight we're going to talk about a few things, one being the redistricting scenarios that will impact Fairfield. Going to let you know about some new construction going on in the county, some new programs in the county, and then we're going to end on some, maybe talking about some opportunity schools. Should be up here maybe 15 minutes or so, and then we'll handle some questions after. With me today, I have our Chief of Staff, Ms. Holly Coy, with the county. She's here with me tonight as well. So it's truly a pleasure to be here and talk about the exciting things happening in the Fairfield District and how they benefit our students and families. Believe it or not, we are wrapping up. I saw you walking over here to me. Believe it or not, we are wrapping up the first 9 weeks, and over the past several weeks, I've probably been to every school in our district. Students are deeply engaged in meaningful, relevant learning. Teachers and administrators are building strong, trusting relationships with students, and there's a genuine culture of respect, belonging, and success going on in our schools each and every day. One of the biggest responsibilities of the school board has taken on this fall is the consideration of potential boundary adjustments. These conversations have been happening now for two main reasons. First, a few schools in the county are over capacity, while schools like Henrico High School have space to grow and house new programs. Realignment also helps create clean K-9 feeder patterns that make sense for our families. Second, the timeline is tight because families will soon make decisions about specialty centers and winter course registration. Changes must be settled so families can prepare for the next school year. This evening, I want to share a bit about two scenarios, the first one being the Tucker High School scenario. Tucker High School has the highest functional capacity, meaning there are too many students attending the school to make best use of the most efficient use of space in the building. And as strange as it sounds, the impact students in here in the Fairfield District. First, because we have students who live in our magisterial district who participate in specialty centers at Tucker. Second, because proposed boundary adjustments for Tucker include moving students to Hermitage High School, increasing the number of students at Herm, and as a result, a couple neighborhoods currently zoned for Hermitage that are close to the Fairfield District are being moved to Henrico High School. Now, let's take a look specifically about the proposed Henrico High School scenario. As I mentioned, Henrico High School has the lowest enrollment of any school in the county. Some of those seats will be filled with our new Center for Cybersecurity, which opens in Henrico High School next year. We anticipate significant increase in that program, which will draw students from across the county to Henrico High School. I will share more about the cybersecurity shortly. In addition, the scenario proposes moving students from Chamberlain Farms and Lakeside Terrace, currently zoned for Hermitage, to Henrico, and also moving students from the Central Gardens, Woodville, and eventually the new Fairways, currently zoned Highland Springs, to Henrico High School. So if these scenarios are approved, Henrico High School would increase roughly to 333 students and still operate at about an 80% capacity. Highland Springs would shift to roughly 83% capacity, while Hermitage would drop to about 73% capacity. This chart shows you the preliminary impact on school enrollment, and all of the high school redistricting scenarios are approved. You can see the thread connecting Tucker to Herm to Henrico High School. Now let's talk about how and when any of the approved changes will be implemented. The school board has the ability to determine which grades are allowed to choose to remain at their previously zoned school. So before I hop right into kind of what can happen if this passes, I just want to let you know about what happens when a school is sort of under-enrolled. We start losing teachers because we no longer need those teachers at the school, so they have to shift to other schools. Another thing, we start losing JV programs. So right now, Henrico has a hard time filling any of its JV programs. We talk about electives. Electives start going down, so the ability for students to choose electives start to diminish. So you start to lose culture when you're looking at a school that has the lowest enrollment. We're 65% at capacity at Henrico High School. If you're familiar with Chamberlain Avenue, in Central Gardens, you would know you're probably 4 or 5 minutes away from Henrico High School, yet you drive about 10 to 12 minutes to Hermitage. If you're familiar with this side of town, Central Gardens and the Radcliffe area, I think the separation is at Watts Lane. If you're on one side of Watts, you go to Henrico. If you're on the other side of Watts, you go to Highland Springs. So we're trying to adjust these feeder patterns to make it make sense and the best utilization of our school. We understand that Highland Springs functions anywhere between 90 and 100% year to year. It's our newest school in the East End. It's our biggest school in the East End. But we also know that they can create a capacity issue there if we no longer start shifting our boundaries to make sure that we're using Henrico High School the best that we can for our students and our faculty and our programs over there. So I don't want y'all to think that we just shifting to shift, but if you're everybody's from the Fairfield district, we know the community around Henrico High School. My mom lives over there. It's an older community. If my mom had a kid, I'd be surprised, right? Like, they're no longer having kids anymore, right? So we understand that we're sort of dwindling when it comes to enrollment. And we do have some Fairfield district developments coming. I think we got Helos coming on the way. We have some townhomes by the old, the post office over there. Some development on this side of town as well. If you go to Harvey Elementary School, you're zoned currently for Highland Springs High School. That will not change, but you can understand that from here to Radcliffe is probably 4 minutes, but yet these kids are kind of going different ways. So we're trying to free up the feeder patterns and make them make sense a little bit more. So before we get into what can happen, we just wanted to give you some background on what's kind of happening at one of our schools that the enrollment is slowly dropping at. So at our October 9th work session, we determined that other boundary adjustments are made for the 2026 and 2027 school year. Students in grades 5, 8, 10, 11, and 12 will have the option to remain at their currently zoned school. Basically, this means if you started at a school, you're able to finish if you're in high school. So if you're currently at Highland Springs, you get to stay at Highland Springs. If you're currently at Hermitage, you get to stay at Hermitage. So the school board did vote on that at our October 8th work session. So we won't disrupt any of our high school students that are currently going to Highland Springs, Henrico, Hermitage, or Tucker. They will have the ability to stay if they choose. So there's no disruption there. All of our rising ninth graders will be following the new feeder patterns if approved in December. Mind you, conversations are still going on. Community feedback is still available. That's why we're here tonight. We're here to answer any questions. I'll be here after if you have some further questions, but I just wanted to provide clarity that we will not be disrupting any students that have already started in high school. So I think that's a win that all of my board members decided we could do for our students that's currently there. That way we're not interrupting the community and the culture that they've already built going forward. I'm sorry, next slide, Holly, because I definitely went off track. All right, and at any time, school attendance zones change. It's challenging for families. I think we just covered that. We hosted 3 town hall sessions and a public hearing to gather community input. Families, staff, and the community had the opportunity to complete an online survey and email board members as well. We will continue to evaluate the feedback before making the final decision in December. I do want to switch because we were able to bring this amazing program called the Center for Cybersecurity to Henrico High School. I'm going to read this pretty direct. I don't want to go off script because I want to make sure I'm touching all the points when it comes to the cybersecurity program. So since we mentioned it in Henrico, we have about 50 to 75 students that will be enrolled in it starting next year, which will increase capacity, increase enrollment at our school. This is the 4-year honors level program preparing students for one of the fastest growing and best playing fields in the world. Students will complete hands-on labs and have access to virtual test sites where they can try to build cyber-safe spaces while also trying to hack them. They will study cybersecurity, computer science, data science, and global politics. Students will work with mentors in higher ed and industry and prepare for the globally recognized Security Plus certification. This will begin with fundamentals in 9th grade and end with a senior capstone aligned to industrial credentials, entering either college or the workforce with a major advantage. And I did bring a video, and I'm not sure it will play. I think we're going to try. Nah, it didn't work. We tried, but we had about a 5-minute video there that would kind of let the principal explain to you exactly what the cybersecurity program is. But I do want to touch on just one point. Any child that's entering that cybersecurity program and they're able to get that Security Plus certification, they can come out of high school making anywhere between $80,000 and $100,000 right out of high school before they even touch a college campus. The next thing is a lot of the courses are dual enrollment. I believe the principal told me they may be 2 courses away when they enter college from having an associate's, meaning a little bit less money on parents for school, but also they're already going in with certifications and they can finish their bachelor's within 2 years, coming out making between $100,000 and $130,000. I think in the video it said that this is the fastest growing, I think about a 10% increase per year in this field, somewhere roughly around that. But it's an amazing thing that I'm so happy we were able to bring to Fairfield, to our district, to our high school. And the biggest thing that I want to emphasize with the program is we need the kids from Fairfield to take advantage of it. So make sure we encouraging our neighbors, our students to apply to want to do this, especially if they love math. If you got a child that loves math, this is an amazing program that they can finish high school, go right in the industry. If they don't want to go to college, they have a career. They don't have a job, they have a career. And Henrico, we offer the CTE programs and everything else. So we have everything a child needs. The biggest hurdle for us is knowing about it. So that's why we're here to spread this knowledge, to let everyone know what we have available, because we get in the community and they say, you don't have anything available. I'm like, we do, you just don't know about it. So the biggest thing to do is to let people know what we have to offer in our community, in our high schools, and our CTE programs. That's the biggest thing. It's not that we don't have them. Our CTE program is the best in the world. The world, not the state, not the county, the best in the world. And when you walk in here, you can walk into school and you can come out and be ready to join the fire force. You can be ready to do hair, nails, carpentry. I think Virginia Randolph has diesel mechanics, power motorsports, mechanics, irrigation, that brand new irrigation where they can actually set something on fire and the sprinklers cut on to make sure they got it right. Like literally, we have everything. If you want to work with your hands, Henrico County has a place for you. It's enrolled, enlisted, and employed. Those are 3 E's in the county. And we have access. We just need everyone to know about it. So, my bad. I didn't mean to get on the high horse just now, but just the information needs to flow from me to you and from you to the community. And that's important for us. Now, we do have something else brand new here. At the end of September, we broke ground on another incredible, innovative project, the world's first K-12 school to meet the Living Building Challenge. This is the most rigorous standard for sustainable design. The Living Building at Wilton Farm, funded by the 2022 bond referendum, is a national model for sustainability and innovation. For example, construction will generate virtually no landfill waste, and many materials will be reused from local projects, modeling the most responsible use of resources. Solar panels will produce all the energy the building needs, and students will track how energy is used. Rainwater will be captured and purified on site to supply drinking water, cooking, and restrooms, teaching students firsthand how to protect water quality. The living building and surrounding land adjacent to the James River will be a living laboratory primarily for students in the Center for Environmental Studies and Sustainability at Varina High School. But there will also be countless field trips from schools across the county. The lower level of the building will house the kayaks students will use on the river, a water testing area, and more. Outside of school hours, the public will be welcome to walk the extensive trails and use kayak launch on the river and attend workshops and events in the building. I can't wait to see it all come together. It's happening right here in Eastern Henrico. This is something we all should be proud of. A building that emits 0 emissions. I think the picture's up. I think the roof is like grass, solar panels, the water's reusable. I mean, when you talk about the Living Building Challenge, this is the first school in the world to meet that challenge. Once again, we are leading the way in Henrico County when it comes to building facilities, when it comes to programming. It's something to be excited about that we're able to do this for our students, because the students get to take advantage of this, not us. But this is the impact, the money from the Board of Supervisors that goes into our students is as bar none. It's bar none. So super proud of this building. Can't wait. Make sure y'all come out when we do the ribbon cutting. You'll be able to get a tour. It's way out. It's about 30 minutes away. You know, bring your walking shoes or put your boots on. Come on out when we do that groundbreaking around this time next year. Lastly, I want to switch to our opportunity schools. Starting in 2013 and 24 school year, HCPS designated select schools with high rates of vacant positions and provisionally licensed staff as opportunity schools. Through the HCPS Career Ladder, the new pathways assigned schools selected by HCPS, additional staff and resources, and specialized professional learning, fully licensed instructional staff can earn a compensation supplement. The purpose of the Opportunity School designation is to provide holistic support to recruit and retain fully licensed instructional personnel in schools having difficulty doing so. Once identified, schools receive the designation and associated support for 3 years, regardless of any changes in their combined rate of vacancies and provisionally licensed individuals. The compensation incentives are only provided to eligible licensed staff employed at the school during that time period. This year, Ratcliffe and Brooklyn Middle School were added to the list of opportunity schools, bringing new supports to staff and students. I think if you look up here, some of the supports are 3,300 annual incentives, teacher fellows, tailored professional learning, additional permanent substitute, student support individualists, added associate principal, principal leadership support. Basically, with all these supports in schools that's needed. And this year, I was happy to bring Ratcliffe into the fold and Brooklyn Middle School, which both are in the Fairfield district. So those students at Ratcliffe have tons of support now, and our teachers, it's helping retain our teachers. That's the number one thing we can do, is keep teachers in the building, especially our good ones. And we want to provide them incentives. So the 3,300 is an incentive, but that's not it. We have professionals that's in the building now. We have math coaches. We have reading specialists. This is what we're talking about when we say holistic. We're talking about matching the money, giving them incentive to stay, and then it's 3-year commitments from all of our teachers that go there and sign up there. And I think Brooklyn Middle School was one of the schools that told me yesterday that they were fully staffed, and they haven't been that way in the past 3 or 4 years, but now they're fully staffed with the Opportunity School. So that's where we at. I definitely appreciate you having me this evening. I will answer some questions. If you have any questions, I have Holly here with me. That's our chief of staff. I'll answer them if I can as well. Reverend Cooper, is that okay? Anybody have any questions? If not, okay, there we go.
All right, can you hear me now? All right. I just wanted to know how we can push that redistricting thing that you were talking about to steer more kids to Henrico. Is that something that we can vote on, or is that something we just got to keep pulling y'all's coattail?
Yeah. So different things trigger redistricting every year. This year we had a few new schools like Creoccasin Middle School. I think it's Jackson Davis, and it's one more school. So that kind of triggered our redistricting, along with Tucker being at 106%. So this plan right here is nothing you need to vote on. But what you can do, if you support it, we want to know. If you have some reservations, we want to know. We want to know before going in to make this decision that we have everybody's comments, the surveys that are being done. We want to make sure we're connecting with the community. That's why we're here tonight, because we understand that Central Gardens is affected, and we are over here at Harvey today. So if you live in Central Gardens and you have those questions, you can come push and come talk to me and let me know what your reservations are. Maybe I can calm you down a little bit, or maybe I can take it back to my board and we can have some more discussion. But it's nothing that needs to be voted on. But it is something that if you really support, I would love to know, so I can take it back to my board members so they would know before they get a chance to vote on it. Are there any other questions? Oh, we got a police officer.
I was just wondering if any of the school boards are looking at putting uniforms in the schools.
No, sir, that has not been any conversation that I've been a part of. Believe it or not, I believe some schools had uniforms years back. I know Laburnum was one of them. I don't know what happened, but it went away. I haven't had any advocacy for it since. I know you love to wear a uniform. I see you, so I get where the question came from.
Oh, she's out the ass at it. Yeah.
Yes, years ago, Authorized Elementary had uniforms, but I believe it was only for a couple of years.
Okay.
And I can attest to Henrico County Public Schools for their programs because both our sons attended Highland Springs High School, but our oldest son was in a program that he was able to get college credit while he was in high school, so that when he went to college, he already had, I can't remember how many credits, but he had college credits. And he worked for the school system while he was in school by helping to install the airports, I guess that's what you call, for when Henrico started the computers, the laptops. So he traveled on the school bus to help install those airports. And our youngest son also was in a special program, the Specialty Center. And so I can attest to Henrico County Public Schools. And I thank you all for your support.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And for those that don't know, Highland Springs does have the ACA Specialty Center, which is our students will graduate with an associate's degree. They also have the Center for Engineering as well at Highland Springs. So a lot of great things going on in Henrico County Public Schools. Remember, we just got to get the word out. Thank y'all so much. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible you can go back to the slide where you talked about the support schools or support staff, or is it something in your packet that we can look at?
I think you were talking about the opportunity schools.
That's it right there.
There's just a question.
I guess the whole year to go back to that.
She wants you to tell her about it again.
Oh, the opportunity schools. This year we added Brooklyn and Ratcliffe. So these schools are identified because basically they probably have a lot of teacher turnover, which means we have teachers, the next year they leave. A lot of provisionally licensed teachers, so new teachers that's getting into the field, they career switchers. They say, I want to be a teacher. They've been in another career. So they go to a school, but we see high turnover. So what can we do to keep our teachers in our school? So if we label them an opportunity school, we're giving the teachers an opportunity to come in, sign a 3-year contract, and they get incentives like $3,300, and that you get a raise with that as well. But not only that, the school also gets the support. So they get the reading specialist, they get the math specialist, they get a teacher fellow, which is an experienced teacher that comes in and helps teachers with writing lesson plans. So when you're a new teacher, you get in there, you're trying to write that lesson plan by yourself, it's pretty hard. So we get experienced teachers in to come in, they call teacher fellows, and they help those teachers write their lesson plan. So now they have somebody that's coaching them through when they're a new teacher and kind of improving. And we're seeing proven results from this program. Teachers are staying. Like I said, Brooklyn Middle School is now fully staffed. So that's part of the opportunity school that was started under Reverend Cooper, and then we're continuing now under my leadership.
I am a retired teacher for Richmond Public Schools. I am now working with Henrico Public Schools as well as Richmond as a substitute. I went on your website because you had a job for retired teachers. I wasn't necessarily interested in working full-time again, but I was interested in what that position is, and I applied, and I never heard back from anybody. So I still don't know what the position actually entails. Can you tell me where I need to go to find out more about that?
Well, as soon as we finish, you can come pull me to the side. I will get your name and your number, and then I'll make sure we have staff follow up with you to see what's going on. But we would love to have you. Let me tell you, in this district. So make sure it's in this district. Don't go outside my district, all right? Yeah, so we want you in this district. So yes, when we leave, let's talk, let's communicate. Let me get your name and number, and let's see what's going on, okay?
So one thing he didn't mention, when you talk about student performance, when you have inconsistency with the teaching, then you have the inconsistency with the learning. Fairfield and Verada District over the past few years have had the most long-term subs as well as provisionally licensed teachers. So the fact that we've been able to expand the opportunity to schools to give them more opportunities it's been a blessing. And I want to congratulate y'all for doing that and adding more. Yeah.
Thanks.
Real quickly, I want to remind everybody as the seasons change in Henrico County, if you bag your leaves or if you push them to the curb, you can get them vacuumed for free and you can get your bags picked up for free. So we have these pamphlets. This is our vacuum leaf collection. And our other one is our bagged leaf collection. You can pick up a pamphlet. We've got the maps on them. We have the dates to pick up and who to contact. You can get those on the way out. Where are they at? On the desk. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Quickly, can we give all our presenters a hand tonight who've been here? I'm just so grateful for the engagement and the involvement of the Fairfield constituents in our district because we do care. I want to just quickly remind everyone that our next forum is going to be held. Let me pull the dates up. Next month, November, our next forum will be held on the 20th, and that one will be at the Sports and Entertainment Center. Since I've been on the board the last year and a half, I wanted to make sure that all sections of Fairfield was covered, so we go from one side to the other, alternate. So our next event, Thursday, November 20th, at the Sports and Event Center. That's 1 All-Star Boulevard, Glen Allen. Barb, is there a sign-up sheet or cards they can get? Do you have my cards? Okay, so if you have an idea for a topic you want discussed at our forums, please contact me so that we can share that information, because the goal is this to be informational and inspirational. So that's Thursday, November the 20th. And then our last one for the year is December 18th here across the street at the Eastern Henrico Rec Center. That's the 18th, and that will also be at 6:30 p.m. Any more questions for anybody presenting tonight? We still have our register, we have our delegate, we have our school board representative. Thank you all for being here tonight. If not, look at your neighbor beside you and say, thanks for coming out tonight. Have a good night, everybody.